the fascinating and ever-changing world of agriculture. Let's hit the road here in Georgia and meet the farmers, producers, makers, and bakers who keep us all fed and keep us coming back for more. Straight ahead at the Fork in the Road.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand.
Georgia farmers, artisans, merchants, and producers, we depend on these men and women every day of our lives through the choices we make and the food we consume. Their strategy and approach is always shifting, but the end game remains the same: results. So you want to visit the farm, but maybe you don't want to run the farm 24/7 like most of these hardworking men and women do. That's part of how the concept of agritourism came to be. So many folks were curious about the animals, the plants, and where their food comes from. This week, we visit a few agritourism destinations in Georgia that share the fun and let you bring those flavors home. Let's begin this episode in McDonough at a family farm that's helped pave the way for what is possible in the world of agritourism.
2 generations before my dad were sharecroppers, which meant they cropped land for a share of the crop. Didn't own much, but they worked for other farmers. But in 1938, my grandfather made enough money to buy a part of this farm. My dad ended up buying the adjoining farm, and at one time there were 2 separate dairy farms on this property. Actually, it's the location of where the dairy barn is now on the farm. I grew up dairy farming and ended up going to the University of Georgia, majored in dairy science, and worked in Atlanta for a couple of years, but then came back to the farm in partnership with my dad and uncle and put both dairies together.
In 1986, Mr. Carter sold out of the dairy business and transitioned into a beef cattle hay farm with thoughts of developing the farm into an educational agritourism destination. This building goes way back.
That's right. And this is where the cows used to come in to get milk. I mean, we had 12 at a time, which was at that time a medium-sized dairy. I think we milked about 200 head of cows at the time.
You know, and it's neat how you have it set up now. People can sit up here, learn about the whole process, and it is fascinating.
One of the primary objectives is so that when kids go in the grocery store the next time with their mom and get that gallon of ice cream or the milk, that it didn't just grow in the stock room back there, it was grown on a farm. That's one of the things that we want to teach to this community is that, you know, farmers do matter.
When I sold out, Jake was 6 and loved the farm and followed in my footsteps everywhere we went. Fast forward a few years, he went to the University of Georgia, majored in business management. So he began to try to figure out how to invest all of his time and sweat equity in the farm. So finally one day he came up with an idea of the agritourism.
And the rest is history, but with a big future. And that history is not gone.
That's right. I mean, one of the things that just, you know, tickles us to death is the next generation, right? I mean, my dad, you know, trusting me to take on the farm and run it. Maybe one day I'll have that with my kids if they so choose to want to become a farmer.
If there's one thing I've learned about farmers, it's a 7-day-a-week job.
Yep.
It is all day. And so you said, I want to be a farmer and we want all this.
I tell a lot of people it's not a 9 to 5, sometimes it's a 5 to 9. And it is a calling, it's a love of the land, love of watching crops grow, things flourishing and producing. I mean, that's what keeps us going. And the community aspect, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we did open the gates. For years, our gates stayed shut. We didn't want anybody in the farm. It was just like, this is our farm, we don't want anybody to come. And we had a lot of people showing up, David, asking us a lot of questions about agriculture. And we decided there was an opportunity there to provide a place for families to come out and enjoy spending time together while learning about agriculture, and that's what we decided to do in 2006.
And I've actually been coming here for years, and it's been neat to watch it grow. It seems like every year you have something new that comes along. There's Belle's barn right behind us. Tell me about the experience that kids get at Belle's.
Kids can come here and have an interactive experience with farm animals. Of course, the goats and the horses and chickens and some cows. I mean, we just have a lot of great farm animals that kids can see up close and personal.
There's tons of activities here. We have the giant jumpy pillow.
Sure.
That's a blast. I've always been infatuated with the corn cannon.
There you go.
Tell me about this.
So yeah, I mean, the corn cannon is just fun. I mean, where else can you go and get to shoot actual corn, right? I mean, we're shooting these at targets. We got Bigfoot out there. We got your favorite or least favorite SEC football team on target. So we're just not going to hit Georgia target.
Okay.
You know, we'll leave that one alone.
All right. Show me how it's done, Jake.
All right, so let's see.
You said you're not allowed to hit.
I'm not going to hit Georgia. I'm going to shoot that Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. Tennessee gets it.
Down go the balls.
Bama doesn't often lose, but today, they're going down.
I'ma shoot right now. Yeah, we undefeated and you gon' lose right now. Like click, 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 swish. I can switch it up anytime like this. I'm a videographer and I'm on the verse. So when I shoot my shot, I don't miss. I'm gonna take the shot, take the shot. Take the shot.
And you're not going to go hungry here. Tell me about the food options you have.
We specialize in our baked goods. The fall of the year, we have the apple cider donuts, the fried pies, the homemade ice cream grown with the fruit that we raise here on our farm, strawberries and peaches. And springtime of the year, it's the strawberry shortcake. My mom, who's Mimi, has an old family recipe that's been passed down for generations and creates a strawberry shortcake. And it's just one of the things that people come out to enjoy here on our farm. So lots of sweet treats, because I know when I go somewhere, that's what I look forward to is the food. So we want to have something that folks can come out and look forward to experiencing here at the farm.
But there's also the corn maze. I know a lot of work goes into that. When you see it from that aerial view,
right.
It's pretty amazing.
That's right. I mean, there's several miles of path out there in that cornfield, and it may take you 30, 45 minutes to get through. Or less than that. We have a kid maze kids can go to if they don't want to spend a long time out there. But it's always a fun activity to do, to navigate through that corn maze for sure.
Let's go. Hey, man, they're ready to run for you today. Ready to run for you.
If you start hearing a squealing, that means the pig races are about to happen. They're not squealing because they're upset. They're having fun out there.
That's right. I mean, one of the things that families enjoy watching together is a pig race, and we have 12 different pigs, 3 different races of 4. They run for Oreo cookies and milk. I mean, who wouldn't run for that, right? I mean, these pigs are trained to run, and when they hear the crowds coming, they know it's about race time. And of course, the names like Kevin Bacon and Chew Bacon and Squilly Nelson. I mean, there's all kinds of pig names out there. We're proud to have those pig races.
I imagine y'all in a giant meeting coming up with all these great names. You're like, all right, our work is done. And you gotta love, they're not just running. There's a very epic moment on the 3rd race.
Pigs love water. We have an Olympic-sized pig swimming pool that's 20 foot long. And as they get to the edge of it, the first one, it only takes one to jump, and the rest of them realize they may not get Oreo cookies and milk when they get back in the house. So they're fighting for that Oreo cookie and milk. So that's what they're running for.
I've seen them swim thousands of times, but I still get a kick out of it every time I see it.
Yeah.
It's like I'm seeing it for the first time. I was in the crowd last Saturday. We had a big group here, and I kind of snuck down to the back and just kind of listened. And people were just excited to be there, and the pigs, the first 2 groups ran around the track. Then the 3rd group, Boss Hog down there said, anybody want to see pigs swim? And people went nuts.
I love what I see behind me. A lot of people, I guess, it's probably the last thing they do before they leave.
Absolutely. I mean, when October rolls around, you can't leave here without getting your pumpkin. I mean, this is pumpkin season, and we're just right in the middle of it.
You do grow pumpkins here. This probably isn't the ideal climate. Tell me about the challenge.
Right, so we do try to grow a few pumpkins. Mainly it's the ornamental type, the decorative style pumpkins. And our nighttime temperatures and humidity prevent us from growing like the really big pumpkins, but we do outsource those to local farmers and friends that we know that we can bring those in so that we can meet that demand. But we do try to grow what we can here for sure.
What do you see over the next generation with this farm?
My dad has allowed me to sort of take the farm and come up with ideas and do things. And I think that's the key, is to let the next generation, they have their own ideas. I mean, as the community evolves and asks us questions about things, maybe there's some opportunities that we could get into down the road. And I think that's to the next generation to decide. I mean, my dad allowed me to, make changes and do things aside from the dairy. And I want to give my kids that same opportunity if they so choose.
Who knows what the future of this farm is going to be? I mean, I never would have thought 15 years ago that it would be what it is today. I don't know that any of us could. My dad, if he were living, he'd be right in the middle of it. But the future's bright. I mean, who knows what the future holds, but we just have to be ready and willing to move when we're led to do that.
All year round, the Carter family and their Southern Belle farm will be baking new pies, squeezing fresh drinks, racing the pigs, dreaming up new creative farm fun activities, and of course, restocking their corn cannons for anyone who wants to take a crack at their rival. From McDonough, we journey south to Ashburn, where another agritourism destination delivers good times and fresh farm food. I learned quickly that there's always something happening down at Calhoun Produce. A farm founded in 1982, primarily row crops, has since evolved into what you see today. Sheila Rice is the second generation on board to run Calhoun Produce and has helped transition this place into an agritourism hotspot, no matter which season you decide to visit. Trip number 1 for me was strawberry season in the spring. And yes, they are easy to find. When you're driving I-75, get off at exit 92, go 6 miles east, and here's the key. Look for the giant strawberry.
We call it Fun on the Farm. Every Saturday, we bring families out. We have wagon rides to see the animals. We have buffalo, horses, sheep, goats, pig races. We have a playground. We have a combine playground that's really fun, a little red barn full of animals, a duck race, slides, swings. We just want the families to come out, but while you're here, get an educational experience too. We do field trips during the week, and this is our 25th year growing strawberries, so we are proud of that. We grow 2.5 acres of strawberries. This is April, and we've got a field full. It's mostly all a you-pick, but we do pick every day, so you can buy them already picked while you're here. So we pack them in quart sizes, 2-pound packages, also in 5-pound, and then in flats. So if you don't want to pick, you don't have to pick. We pick every day also, so you can get them already picked for you.
This honey house, it is more than just a place where the bees come. Tell me about what they're going to see when they go in and why the bees are so important to this crop.
On our field trips, of course, we take the kids in there and they get to see the bees. We have a live bee exhibit there, and they see the bees in the case. They'll find a queen bee, of course, in there, and then there's a tube going to the outside. So the bees are on their own. They're coming and going, and we teach them about the bees, so when they get out here to the strawberry field, they won't be scared of the bees. We need bees. Here's a plant. There's a pretty berry. And this is one that's ready to be picked. Now you'll see on this plant, you'll see these. They're not ready, of course, but I always tell them to pick the redder the better. That'll be really sweet. Get it really dark. There may be some real dark ones here. There's one you see is darker. Well, of course, it's gonna be sweeter. To go from flower to berry is about 30 days, full-grown red berry. And then it just goes from stages. Once you pull it off that vine, it's not gonna ripen up. So, when you pull it off that vine, make sure it's red all the way to the top, because they do not ripen up like the tomato does after it's picked.
That's really good to know. I had no idea.
It is. And we try to teach that on the field trips.
And they're still good if they're just a teeny bit soft.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now that's how I like them. I like them dark red. You make that into some strawberry ice cream.
Oh yeah, tell me about that ice cream.
Well, it is made with our strawberries, of course, and it's really good. You have to taste it before you leave. They're gonna fill you up.
Oh, get that there.
Then you gotta have strawberry lemonade too.
Oh, okay.
So my mama, Joyce Calhoun, came up with this recipe back 25 years ago when we started growing strawberries. It's our homemade strawberry lemonade. We sell it by the cup, by the gallon, by the half gallon. We put it in the slush machine, make it strawberry lemonade slushy, or you can get it with ice. And it's really good. So you gotta have one of these too. In our store, we carry lots of Georgia-grown products. So we have jams, jellies, syrups, barbecue sauces, cheese straws, chocolates, pecans.
So strawberries and honey in the spring made for an entertaining and tasty visit. So trip number 2, a few months later, was during butterbean season, which has turned into the family's largest crop and is an incredibly impressive operation.
It's the same as a lima bean, but in South Georgia, we call it a butterbean. June through 1st of October, mid-October is our main crop here at Calhoun Produce. We grow butterbeans and peas, and we fresh shell them daily. And so you can come here and get you some fresh shell butterbeans, butter peas, pink eye peas, creams, zippers, black eyes, you name it, we've got the peas here. All the peas are hand-picked, our butter beans are machine-picked, and then they come here to the packing house. He pulls in, and we have a whole grading line system, and then they go into a bag. Then they go straight to the sheller. We shell them and pack them. We try to have it as clean as possible so you don't have much work to do at all except wash them when you get them home and blanch them. So these are the butter beans that have just been picked. Come straight out of the field. They've been graded on our grading line. There's 30 pounds in a bushel. So now it's going to be shelled through our continuous sheller. And we like to get the field heat out of them, so we have fans over there. We put them in a cooler also to pull the field heat out of them. Because when they come in, you know, it's 95, 100 degrees outside. You know, you want to pull that heat out as quick as you can. Comes in to get it really cold before it is shipped out to local grocery stores, to your home. So this bean has been picked today. It was growing this morning. So that is fresh, and it can be on your table tonight. We shell them fresh daily, and that's from June through mid-October. So we stay pretty busy.
That's a long season.
Yeah, it is. It's a long season, but it's our living.
After stocking up in the store on butter beans, strawberries, onions, and whatever other Georgia-grown goodness is in season, you might want to top off your order with an ice cold slushie, which is always in season around here. It's all about fun, all kinds of farm fresh food, and for 5 decades and counting, it's been all in the family. From the fruit fields of Ashburn to the fruit-filled hills of North Georgia, where apples take center stage. They couldn't have picked a better spot. Rolling green hills lined with healthy, well-manicured apple orchards, and in every direction, the southern Appalachians are the backdrop. The Mercier family has been calling these hills and this ever-growing apple shop home since 1943. And just like the family itself and the trees, the once humble apple shack has also grown and evolved into the must-see traveler's hotspot we witness today.
So my grandfather-in-law, Bill Mercier, came to Blue Ridge in late 30s, early 40s. He came here and he worked as the county extension agent. But growing stuff was his hobby. He loved to grow stuff. In '43, he purchased a small orchard that had already existed. It was about 25 acres. It had a couple of tractors and an old barn there on the hill that you can still see. He ran it for several years until about 1965. They built the road over here, old Highway 5, and when they built the road here, comes between Copper Hill and McKaysville, they decided to take the sales department from the old apple house and they built a new apple house here in '65. They ran that until about '72 when Bill's son came back from the military, Tim, who's my father-in-law, and Tim expanded the operation tenfold. He really was super interested in fruit. There used to be old bushel wooden boxes that were rectangular, about a volume bushel. And obviously 2 of them sat here way too long, and the acid from the apples etched into the concrete floor, and it's been there ever since. We haven't changed it. 50 years, 60 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. My wife and I came back to the farm in the mid-90s, I believe. He took me under his wings. He taught me everything he knew. He introduced me to a bunch of other growers. I came from working in a laboratory in Atlanta, and my wife worked for a TV show in Atlanta. So I had no idea of what farming was all about. The first day I was here, they wanted me to bush hog something, and I was like, I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? He's like, it's a big lawnmower. I was like, oh, I know what that is, okay. Tim wasn't very interested in the market aspect of it, all the knickknacks and all the other items that you see in the market, but my wife was really good at marketing. So she brought the market up to where it is today. She's really done a great job. And then I learned as much as I could from Tim, and we've been, just like Bill did, just like Tim did, the growing systems are all changing, varieties are changing, so it's really exciting.
What are you looking for here?
Really, you can look at seed count. Nice, good, dark seed. Means it's ready to go. 50 different flavors of what we sell here. It's just the fact that not everybody has the same flavor. If they ask me what my favorite apple is, it'd be something that's kind of tart. I like an apple that bites back when you bite into it, But this is a great one. This is called Crimson Crisp. It's brand new. It's a grower's delight. Doesn't get a lot of disease. It's good and firm. Has a lot of juice to it, and it'll keep for several months. So I really love this apple.
That's the sound you're looking for, right?
Yeah, exactly right. That crunch. That's what, I used to run the sampling counter so I get used to all the apples. And when people would come to the sampling counter, you'd think their first question would be, which one's sweet, which one's tart. Their first question is, which one's crunchy? That's the very first question. And then they're worried about flavor. So everybody wants an apple that's good and crunchy. So we try and connect a lot of the kids to the farm. We do a lot of U-picks and tractor tours so we can educate a lot of the children, because most people, even adults, don't realize that physically there's people here digging in the dirt to produce your food. It gives us credibility. So when people come in and they see the fruit on the shelves right there, they've been in the orchard, they know this is where it's coming from. They can put a face to their food. They know their grower, and they get that first big crunchy bite, and you can just see them light up, and they have a great time. So it is fun. Yeah, apples really brought us to the dance. That's what everybody knows us for, Mercier Orchards. But if you pin me down, the biggest sellers is our scratch bakery. Fresh breads, those handheld fried pies, those little pocket pies, donuts. That's probably our biggest seller. People love to come to the orchard to get those little handheld pies, and they are really good because they're still scratch made.
And here's an eye-opening example of where the demand obviously caught up with the supply, and how they adapted seemed to be something out of a sci-fi movie. Robots and humans working hand in hand to conquer an old-school recipe in record speed.
We'll make 2,500 gallons of cider a day. We like to let it sit overnight. That way you can blend all the different apple flavors together, plus it'll oxidize and give it that really nice rich brown color. The stuff we're bottling today is what we pressed yesterday. So that's our fresh tanks. You can see some dimpled tanks maybe in the background. That's our fermentation tanks. That's where we do our hard cider. So we do make a volume of about 2 or 3 traditional hard ciders that we do send to Atlanta and Georgia, throughout the state of Georgia. Those 3 flavors you can find at package stores, restaurants, bars. But if you want some really unique flavors, you got to come see me on the farm, because that's where we make all our real distinct flavors. We make a strawberry hard cider, we make a peach hard cider, we make a jalapeno, which is like a spicy peach cider. We make a Sneaky Jack, which is cider that's aged in bourbon barrels. So if you want some really unique ciders, you got to come see me. So this is the winery. This is where our hard cider and our wine is sampled and sold. We also gather as many local vineyards as we can and bring them in and showcase their wine. You can come get a flight of wine, you can come get a flight of hard cider and do some sampling. You can go sit out on our deck, enjoy the day.
The Merciers and their hard-working crew definitely have their hands full, but seem to be handling the popularity just fine. They understand their new customers' needs, but through the years, as they've grown, they've never lost sight of what got them here.
The store itself is, to me, it's really iconic, because the original store was built in '65, and it was just a small little area up there as you come in the front door. And as my father-in-law puts it, all we did was shed off and shed off and shed off and shed off, and it just grows and grows and grows, and there's tons of different stories to this building, and it's really neat. If people catch one of us in the store, they can always ask us, and we'd love to talk about it.
So whether your car or your bus rolls into Mercier for the trails, the scenery, the gifts, cider, hard cider, apples, of course, or the legendary apple pies, just know in your heart you can't go wrong, unless you just get 1 pie instead of 2. So, from a giant agritourism destination in McDonough offering agricultural education in a variety of entertaining ways, to a hardworking farming family with a strawberry butterbean farm fresh combo and a mountain family farm turned roadside sensation, these are just a few reasons you'll never run out of fun agritourism ideas when wandering the Peach State. I'm David Zelski. See you at the next Fork in the Road.